Welcome to episode 34 of the Ask the Law Firm Seller Show. My name is Jeremy Poock and I lead Senior Attorney Match. In today's Ask Show, we'll have 2 questions plus our Poock's Post. It's just a preview for today's Poock's Post. We'll address why digital marketing analytics present more value than lawyer portables. Okay, so let's jump right into it with our first question. Our first question today is, why should I track digital originations at my law firm? Okay, thanks so much for that question. So here we are in the mid-2020s, heading towards 2030. More and more law firms are recognizing that the norm today for developing business revolves around multi-channel digital marketing. Whereas yesteryear depended upon word of mouth, handing out business cards, going to in-person events, being a traditional rainmaker. More and more now, past 2020, heading towards 2030, law firms continue to be on a pathway to becoming digital rainmaker law firms. So what does that mean? It means that the channels by which clients come to your law firm are primarily digital. Of course, there's still traditional rainmaking, but just to rattle off the digital channels today that are grabbing the attention of would-be clients who are looking online for lawyers and law firms to hire, just as we look online for other services, whether it's accountants, doctors, and outside of professional services, anything and everything that we look for today on our smartphones, our laptops, our tablets. So in law, of course, we're going to Google. That is, clients are searching on Google for lawyers and law firms. We're relying more and more on AI, asking their preferred AI thought partner. This is my fact situation. What lawyer, what law firm is best suited to help me? And then seeing those law firms that are appearing on AI, checking them on Google. Also checking them on social media. Lawyers and law firms are regularly posting today to multiple channels, social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, X, and more. And of course, your website, right? It's just a necessity in today's legal industry to have an optimized website, an up-to-date website, fresh pictures, multiple 5-star Google reviews, videos, audio. We really want to wow that potential client for that client in advance of making a first call or sending a text or engaging in a chat, that client can already know, like, and trust a law firm based on the information on the website. And law firms are publishing content in terms of podcasts and videos and webinars. And then lastly, yes, law firms today are still doing old school in-person type marketing. But this really is that digital marketing that is generating business for law firms in the mid-2020s and heading towards 2030. So why is it so important to track that those digital marketing efforts? When it comes to the importance of tracking digital marketing efforts by law firms, let's look at Law Firm Sales 2.0, which is really where the marketplace is heading towards in terms of law firm sales. If you are spending the time, the effort, and the money to be developing clients digitally, it is vital to be looking at the data analytics to understand how the clients are coming into your law firms from those different digital media venues in which you are investing, right? You are looking at and receiving, typically on a monthly basis, your data analytics from your digital marketing company. If you don't have a digital marketing company yet, we certainly recommend that you hire one and analyze that data, because if you're thinking about selling your law firm, and if you want to be getting money up front at a sale, which is what we're seeing in Law Firm Sales 2.0. So just take a step back and put a definition. What is Law Firm Sales 2.0? And Law Firm Sales 2.0, what we're seeing is a fixed price paid at a closing plus earn-out payment terms. The earn-out payment terms are really old school from Law Firm Sales 1.0. That's based upon the volatility of the book of business, right? Your firm generates clients old school, has a book of business that is attributable to one or more rainmaker attorneys. Typically, a law firm, buying law firm, will pay on that book of business based upon the collections derived from the book of business, right? That is, if the rainmaker attorney is transitioning the clients to the purchasing law firm will share in a portion of those legal fees over a negotiated period of time. Law Firm Sales 2.0 is saying, okay, we as the seller, we know that clients are coming to us through Google. They are coming to us through Facebook. They are coming to us from our posts on Instagram, and they're coming to us, in different forms of digital marketing that we're able to track, and we're able to show that clients are coming to us because we have become and are on the pathway to becoming a digital rainmaker law firm. And when you're able to show the data analytics that can support that predictability of how clients are coming into your practice, then you're going to be able to have a fixed payment at a closing table. Let's look at the default, though. Right, the default is that book of business. Not such a bad thing, okay? And here, just from the perspective of the seller, okay? When a seller has a book of business, right? When I'm saying that what the default is that a buyer is going to look at the purchase of a seller's law firm and say, okay, you have a book of business. We know that it has clients and referral sources, so we are comfortable paying you that percentage of the collections that come from that defined book of business. Let's contrast that again to Law Firm Sales 2.0, right? We as a seller today, if we are generating business as a digital rainmaker law firm, and we can show the data analytics that can show that the clients are coming to our firm because we have developed digital value, we have brand equity, it is supported by the data, then we as such sellers can say to a buyer, we just deserve, and that deserve is backed up with data, such and such a multiple of our EBITDA, of our net profit, based upon the percentage of business that comes to our firm from our digital marketing efforts, plus the value of our book of business. So just to say that very succinctly, in terms of why should you be tracking digital originations for your law firm, is because if you want to receive a fixed payment and a higher fixed payment at a closing table in Law Firm Sales 2.0, please be prepared with data to show that you have become a digital rainmaker law firm that has real digital value, real brand equity. You will receive fixed payment at a closing table based upon that data, plus the value of the book of business, because your law firm, in all likelihood, continues to have one or more traditional rainmakers that have a book of business, and that part of the sale will be based upon an earnout, which is the percentage of revenues derived from the collections from that book of business over a negotiated period of time. Okay. So for our next question. Our next question is, what does "just don't fumble the ball" mean in the context of a law firm sale? All right. So this question really relates to buyers, right? To growing law firms. Growing law firms continue to recognize that senior attorney-led firms present great value as they're considering how to grow their practices today. And that value comes in a couple of ways. One is how purchasing a senior attorney-led firm, it adds growth in terms of the following three resources that senior attorney-led firms offer. The first and foremost is new clients, right? That is, a senior attorney-led firm has developed a book of business. It has a reputation. The clients call the firm, they contact the firm, and as a purchasing firm, what is it that you're always in need of, right? What's the energy source for any law firm is new clients. So check the box, major resource that a selling firm presents to a growing law firm. Second resource is an experienced workforce. That is, selling law firms often have additional lawyers, trained and experienced support staff. Those lawyers and support staff often join the growing law firm as part of the purchase. Great benefit to growing law firm because you are picking up lawyers and support staff that do not need to be trained. They know the areas of law, they know the clients. Third resource, which is becoming more and more valuable, more and more pertinent throughout the mid-2020s, heading towards 2030 and beyond, is the digital content opportunities that senior attorney-led firms offer. Senior attorneys and the lawyers at their firms have often developed subject matter knowledge in multiple practice areas that presents literally treasure chests of opportunities to convert that subject matter knowledge into digital content to publish to multiple channels of digital marketing to attract today's and tomorrow's clients to the given growing law firm purchaser. Now let's look at that second major value that purchasing a senior attorney-led firm presents to growing law firms today, is that we are still in law firm sales 1.0. We're really transitioning in the law firm sales marketplace from law firm sales 1.0 to 2.0. Here we're going to focus on 1.0 because when a growing law firm is purchasing a prototypical senior attorney-led firm, and when I say prototypical, I mean that selling law firm often has one or more traditional rainmaker attorneys. Those rainmaker attorneys have developed books of business. The books of business very valuable to a growing law firm that wants and needs what? They want and need new clients. Great opportunity from that resources side. From the financial side, where the opportunity is for growing law firms, is the purchase price. Because of literally the volatility of that book of business, it's so tied to the rainmaker attorneys. The purchase price in law firm sales 1.0 is often via an earnout because a purchaser and certainly a bank is going to say, well, we don't know if the clients of the rainmaker attorney, the seller, are going to transition over to the growing law firm. Hence, growing law firm says, we'd love to pay you, Mr. or Ms. Seller. We're going to pay you on an earnout basis. We're going to pay you a percentage of revenues that come from your book of business. And now we get to just don't fumble the ball. So when it comes to growing law firms purchasing senior attorney-led firms, we're often advising, and here the question here is, what does just don't fumble the ball mean in the context of a law firm sale? Is to make sure that the clients that are part of the book of business of a selling law firm, that the lawyers at the growing law firm, that they don't fumble the ball in terms of rocking the boat with the relationship with those all important clients, right? That is, the senior attorney rainmaker seller has spent his or her career developing that client base. From a just don't fumble the ball standpoint, all that the lawyers at a growing law firm need to do is just pick up that ball, just like a quarterback hands the ball over to the running back and can then just march down the field. So literally, how does that happen in law firm sales? It's via trust transfer. So what we see in terms of just don't fumble the ball is that the senior attorney, very important, needs to transfer the trust of his or her clients over to the lawyers at a growing law firm. And that trust transfer is done in three ways. First, and this is becoming less and less relevant in today's digital world, that first is in person. That is, let's use the estate planning as the context. Is estate planning attorney has hundreds, sometimes thousands of clients. Longtime client wants to come in and amend their trust. Come in, meet around the conference table. Senior attorney says to longtime clients, I trust Dave, who is a junior partner here at the firm, at that growing law firm. You're going to be in good hands with Dave. It works. All Dave has to do is not fumble the ball. Just do good work and be in touch with the clients, and the clients will stick. More and more in today's digital era, that same meeting happens very often and digitally. It happens via Zoom. So let's just say senior attorney seller, I'm sitting here in the Northeast. It's still in the wintertime. So let's say that the selling attorney is now in Florida. Dave is in New York, let's say, and the client and the clients are in New York. Go on a Zoom meeting, and senior attorney has that same conversation, right? And just like many of us is sitting in front of a camera, has senior attorney has his shorts on, okay, wants to go back outside into the 75-degree weather, and says to the clients, "You are in great hands with Dave. I trust Dave. I'll be copied on emails. You can always call me, but you are in good hands with Dave." Senior attorney has done his part in this example by transferring the trust of the clients to Dave. All Dave has to do is not drop the ball. And interestingly, in today's digital era as well, that trust transfer is happening via social media as well. That is when Growing Law Firm is sending out an e-newsletter to clients. Clients are learning more about what the firm that their longtime senior attorney lawyer, what that firm offers in terms of additional practice areas. Client could then call that firm, say, "Oh, well, I'm a longtime client of the selling attorney. I see that you guys do divorce law. Unfortunately, my son is going through a divorce. Could you handle that?" All that the Growing Law Firm needs to do in that example is just don't fumble the ball. And now let's look at when you don't fumble the ball, right? Where the winners are in law firm purchases and really sales by senior attorneys. But in this example, we're focusing on the growing law firms, right? When growing law firms are acquiring senior attorney-led firms and they don't fumble that ball, that is, they accomplish the trust transfer and do it well, there's really four winners that result. First winner is the senior attorney, right? The senior attorney is able to monetize his or her practice. They can practice less. They can spend more time outside of the office. An additional winner for the growing law firms is you're picking up key lawyers and parastaff that have great experience from that senior attorney-led firm. They've now joined Growing Law Firm. By the way, those key employee lawyers in particular, what is it that they really want? They want a reliable, predictable, and safe job. It's a huge win for them to be able to maintain their employment, their benefits, paid time off, and whatnot. Third winner is the clients, right? The clients are joining a practice. They're being transitioned to a growing law firm where they're going to continue to have competent representation for years, hopefully decades to come. And then the major benefits to the growing law firms, right? Again, when you're just not fumbling that ball and you're benefiting by trust transfer, is you're picking up the clients, you're picking up experienced lawyers and non-lawyer staff. What we mentioned before, the ability to convert subject matter knowledge of senior attorneys and the lawyers at their firms to be converting that subject matter knowledge into digital content. And lastly, while we remain in law firm sales 1.0, where selling law firms are selling their books of business that is volatile in terms of that you don't know that the clients are necessarily going to come over without the trust transfer, the purchase price is based upon an earnout. There's typically not fixed price payments in law firm sales 1.0. So it's a great opportunity still in the marketplace for growing law firms to purchase senior attorney-led firms. I know I'm a broken record at this point, but it's just so important if you just don't fumble the ball. Okay, so for today's Poock's Post. Today's Poock's Post is digital marketing analytics present more value than lawyer portables. So we're giving a lot of thought to the transition of law firms in the legal industry from depending upon traditional rainmaker attorneys who developed portables, books of business over the course of their careers to today's growing presence of digital rainmaker law firms. So let's go in the Wayback Machine, which really isn't all that far back. We're really talking about pre-Google and certainly pre-2020, which is your typical rainmaker attorney who developed their book of business, what we're often saying is the hard way, right? And those are typically today's senior attorneys. That is, attorneys that have practiced more than 30 years. They develop their books of business by in-person marketing, that is going to all types of events, handing out hundreds, often thousands of business cards over the course of a given year, speaking anywhere and everywhere, whether that's a community center, whether that's a trade conference, trying to get out into the community so people can recognize that such and such a lawyer is a go-to in a given subject matter, and is a real rainmaker as a result. Event sponsorships, lawyers and law firms would take out tables at different events, take out pages in the ad book at those events, and then traditional in-print marketing as well. Think way back to those of us that remember this is, the white pages, even the yellow pages, journals, newspapers, and for those that could afford it, TV and radio. When it comes to those portables, in terms of the value from the book of business, the value really depends upon transferring the trust of a selling rainmaker attorney, is the importance of trust transfer in the sales of senior attorney-led firms where the seller is a traditional rainmaker attorney, because you've developed that book of business. You have portables, right? But the question is, how do we port those clients to a purchasing law firm? That's done by trust transfer. It is, I don't necessarily want to say arduous, but it certainly is hands-on for a selling attorney who is a traditional rainmaker attorney. To be able to monetize the practice, you really need to be able to transfer the trust of your clients to lawyers at a growing law firm, and those lawyers at the growing law firm will pay a percentage of the revenues that come from that defined book of business over a negotiated period of time. We call that law firm sales 1.0. In a lot of respects, there's a ceiling on what a seller in a law firm sales 1.0 type of transaction can receive, because you're really limited. I mean, it's not that your practice doesn't have value, but you're limited to what the book of business is going to produce. We'll define in the agreements who's a client, who's a referral source, what's the percentage of fee sharing, what's the length of time. All roads lead back, though, to the book of business. Now, let's compare that to where we are today as law firms in the mid-2020s and heading towards 2030, and there is no looking back on this, folks, are heading to becoming digital rainmaker firms. Why? Because clients post-2020, they changed their habits. Right? We all depend upon our smart devices today more and more. We depend upon them when we're looking for anything and everything. And certainly with the advent of AI, where we can be asking, or a would-be client could be asking their AI thought partner, hey, here's my fact situation. Who is the best suited attorney or law firm for this situation? And then in real time, be able to go onto the website of the choices that your AI thought partner gave you, as compared to previous years when you might have contacted your accountant, your brother, you might have asked the person next to you on the treadmill for their advice. Well, today's day and age, you can go to Google, look at lawyers and law firms, read their five-star Google reviews. Hence, clients pulled the legal industry to become digital rainmaker firms. And what does it mean in terms of how it is that law firms are developing their business digitally today? So we utilize a metaphor of windmills, of how do law firms generate the energy source for their firms, because every law firm, the energy source is clients. So in terms of the windmills for digital rainmaker law firms, windmills today consist of Google, AI, social media, your website, your audio and video content you publish, so podcasts, YouTube videos, webinars, and yes, of course, we still have old school in-person generation of clients by, let's say, handing out the business cards at events that traditional rainmakers will attend. But shouldn't really say but, and that digital marketing efforts by law firms is developing law firm brand equity. So as law firms are becoming digital rainmaker firms, they are developing brand equity. So if we compare that to yesteryear, where law firms, for the most part, comprised of rainmaker attorneys, those rainmaker attorneys developed portables. They would be able to say to their bosses at their firms, "Hey, I've got a book of business of such and such. I could take my portables and go someplace else. Oh, no, please stay. We'll make sure that you have the support of additional lawyers to work on your business. And then when you want to sell that law firm, okay, we're selling the book of business." Let's contrast that to digital rainmaker law firms today that are developing law firm brand equity. So what does that mean? The law firm brand equity means that we have brand awareness in the marketplace because law firms are investing in multiple channels of digital marketing to attract the attention of today's and tomorrow's clients. Think about first, second, third rankings on Google started to come up on AI searches on social media. People and clients are starting to recognize the brand awareness of law firms. More and more law firms are introducing trade names, and you should, right? Like, I mean, this is great, by the way, for the people that answer your phones, right? Yesteryear, you felt bad for secretaries and legal assistants that had to say like 6 surnames at the beginning of a phone call, even before you can say, "How can I help you?" Right? We're seeing today law firms are limiting themselves to 1 or 2 surnames and going down the pathway, smartly, in my opinion, towards developing trade names. Very importantly, quality perception, right? The 5-star Google review is today's social proof. Of course, a personal referral of somebody actually saying, "Hey, I recommend Attorney Jones because Attorney Jones is the go-to patent attorney for the type of patent that you want to file." Okay. But on the other hand, if that person that's looking to file a patent goes onto an intellectual property lawyer's website for that particular type of patent that the scientist wants to have filed with the patent office, and sees 100 5-star Google reviews to say that this is the office that knows this practice area, that quality perception is huge and is leading to law firm brand equity. And then lastly is just that digital presence, just investing in, as law firms are recognizing today, we need to continue to invest in having that digital presence over multiple channels of digital marketing. So now let's look at what we call law firm sales 2.0 and why it is just so important to be gathering the digital marketing analytics. Because you are investing today, that is, law firms are investing in multiple channels of digital marketing. If you're investing in it and it's producing for you, it's just so important to track that information, because as law firms continue to become digital rainmaker law firms, their value is not going to be limited to a per se book of business that is attributable to 1 or more rainmaker attorneys that have those portables of yesteryear that could be sold to a growing law firm or could transition when lawyers move from one law firm to another. By contrast, when we have digital analytics that are showing that clients are coming on a regular basis and retaining our law firm because of the law firm's digital value and its brand equity, then those law firms are going to get higher fixed prices at closing tables, because purchasers and the banks behind those purchasing law firms will see that clients are coming here predictably. We see steady clients coming in through these different digital marketing channels. we're not dependent upon one or more traditional rainmaker attorneys who could just leave at any given moment, or God forbid, predecease or become disabled, and then the clients aren't going to come to this law firm anymore because of the traditional rainmaker attorney. No, instead, the clients come to this firm because of its digital value and brand equity that is supported by digital marketing analytics, and hence those digital marketing analytics are becoming more valuable than lawyer portables as we head towards 2030 and as the legal industry continues to transition from being led by traditional rainmaker attorneys to law firms that are becoming digital rainmaker law firms. And that is episode 34 of the Ask the Law Firm Seller Show.